validate a product idea for the Australian market. So this is more art than science. So this is a business. Let me start with this. This is a business. And so if you are looking for a guaranteed way to know with certainty that the product that you're thinking of selling will make money, then you are in the wrong, you're doing the wrong thing. You ought to go and get a job instead. Because the only thing that's guaranteed in business is that things will change, things won't work the way you wanted them to, and the shit will hit the fan. I can guarantee you all of those things will happen typically at the same time, all right? So if you want guarantees, go get a job. This is not for you. This is not for you. Go and get a job if that's what you want, all right? The reason that we are in business is because we are prepared to take the risk of things not working for the potential reward of when they do work. Because when they do work, you can make a shitload of money. When they don't work, you can lose your money. That's the risk-reward equation, all right? So, with that little preamble being said, there is no way I can give you, or anybody else, no matter what they tell you, a guaranteed way to find products that will work 100% of the time. It just doesn't exist. If you think about it, that makes sense, all right? That makes sense. But what I can give you is ways to get different, what I call data points, and then to use those data points, those reference points, to build up a picture of the likelihood of something working or not, all right? So that's what I'm going to give you. So in that respect, this is, to a large degree, more art than science. To a large degree, it's more art than science. Because even when all of the data tells you that something should work, it doesn't always work. And even when the data tells you it shouldn't work, it often does work, all right? So which is completely annoying, I get that, but them's the breaks, we're in business, so just so you know, just so you know what's going on. So with that little preamble being said, let's go find a product. So specifically, let's validate a product from one market into Australia. Now, this is a really, really great strategy to do. You can and should do this. It works really, really well. I do it all the time, as do many people in the Aussie online entrepreneurs. There's a strategy. It's pretty simple to do. You look at what's working in one marketplace, you take what's working, and you replicate the idea into another marketplace. I've done this not just on Amazon, but in many, many businesses with great, great success. So let's start with that. So let's start with the bestsellers list. So let's go to the Amazon bestsellers, amazon.com bestsellers. So these are all products that are selling shitloads in this particular marketplace. On amazon.com, these are all products that are selling a shitload of products, all right? So if we can find something here, and then we can look at the Australian market and see what it's like to sell it there. So that's the basic premise of the idea, okay? So let's have a quick look. If you spot something, what you want us to go look at, let's go and have a little bit of a look-see. Not something like that. Cameras and photos, electronics, they're always good. Toys and games. I would do toys and games, but you are unlikely to get yourself with the ability to sell them right now. So you may not think about that. What we do, home and kitchen, go a little bit deeper. What's this? Like, this is #1 seller in home and kitchen is a kid's desk set. A kid's desk set. Well, that is the #1 seller in the homes and kitchen. That means that must be selling a veritable shitload of stuff. It's currently unavailable, which means it's run out of stock. That's what that means. It means it's run out of stock. So it's sold so much, it's run out of stock, and they must have just recently run out of stock because it's still the bestseller, and the bestseller is usually calculated, depending on the category, every between 1 and 5 hours. So this is just run out of stock. Kids desk and chair set. So that is our search term, okay? We've got to assume that's the search term because that's what's there, whatever. Could be anything. I don't know what it would be for sure, but that's a good place to start. Again, there's part art and part science in that. I don't know yet what the best search term is. That seems like a good place to start. So how the hell do you validate this? Well, we're going to look for data points. So what data points can we go find? Let's go find some data points. So we've got things like, let's go to Amazon in Australia and just see if we can sell something like this first. That's the first point of call. What's the marketplace like in Australia? Think kids desk and chair set. And let's just see what comes up when I type in the search term. Let's see what else it tells me, because that gives me some potential information that I can use later on to differentiate this particular product. Okay? That's another thing that we may need to do, differentiate. But anyway, let's just assume kids desk and chair set. Boom. All right. So, nothing like this. Nothing like that. So what does that tell us? Well, there's that, I guess. Does that mean it's bad? God, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it means it won't sell at all. Or maybe it means it's a great product that nobody's discovered yet. God, it could mean either of those things. Why does Amazon have to make it so difficult? Let's try some more. Let's get some more information. See if we can get some information from here. Let's try kids desk and chair set in our good old friendly merchant words. Let's try that. All right, so, well, this cell tells me there's 11,300 searches. All right, now here's where you kind of have to start getting a little bit of art into what we're doing, because 11,300 searches per month. However, this is the #1 bestseller in home and kitchen. What does that tell us? What does that tell us? 11,300 searches, that's what Merchant Words is telling us, that's the only search volume. And yet, Amazon's telling us it's the #1 seller in a top category, top level category, home and kitchen. What does that tell us? All right, so let me read this out, and it's all true. Maybe kids desk and chair set is not the right keyword. Maybe it's that. Hayden says, maybe it's a great opportunity. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Jai says, it's definitely selling more than 11,000 units. I agree. It must absolutely have more search volume than that. Otherwise, it would not be in that spot. Brad says, there are multiple keywords all ranked on page 1. Absolutely. Could be for homeschool. Absolutely. Do you get what I mean? Like, so even though, and all of those answers are correct. All of those answers are correct, all right? So are you starting to understand that there is no definitive, this is how you do this. There is no definitive way of that. You kind of got to just get in there and have a look. So let's have a look. What other search terms should I be doing for this? Because they've got retractable children's desk and chair. So clearly that's what they think this is. Height adjustable, but that doesn't, that search term on its own, height adjustable, doesn't mean anything at all. Children's study desk. Good idea, Dan. Let's try that. So now Dan has come up with a different search term for us to go after. Doink. Let's have a look what this says. Computer says 500. So that's not it. That's not the right search term. Now I can use other things in merchant words to give me this information, but I'm going to try not to use them because I'm going to assume that you've only got the basic package of merchant words. So I could just go to async plus and do a reverse async lookup, and I could see what search terms they rank for. So I could see that immediately and I would get that information. I wouldn't have to dick about. However, that's a paid upgrade, baby. Paid upgrade. Children's study, broad kids furniture. Not a bad idea. I like that. Let's try that one from Jai. Kids furniture. Let's try that. So, is this kind of making sense to you? Homeschool desk, that's another good one. 1,600, so that could work. That's a good one. Still, it seems like it's quite low for it to be the top seller in that category. That seems just insane. Why so high? Kids office, kids table, homeschool. Could be for homeschool, yeah. Homeschool desk. What about just home school? What about that? Student desk, perhaps, but I don't think student desk is right for this one, only because it's definitely aimed at younger kids, okay? Homeschool materials, maybe. You getting the idea? Like, you cannot be linear about this. You've got to use some art and some some science. You've got to use that. So here's the thing. If you are just basing all of your assumptions on the numbers, you will miss opportunities, because all of the numbers are telling us this isn't right. It ain't working. And yet it's the #1 seller. How can that be? Clearly, something's amiss. But if you are just focused on numbers, the search volume isn't there, then you miss everything else. It's not just science. There's an art to it as well, which I know sucks, but that's what it is. That's what business is. It's people. And people are kind of weird. They're awesome and weird. All right, so anyway, hopefully that's giving you some information about that. So one of the ways I do this is I go look at merchant words and I go get another data point. That's what that is. It's just another thing to add to my mental list of things that I'm looking at. But let's continue on, and let's continue on our merry paths and go find something else. So kids desk. Maybe we'll just try that one. Let's try that one from now on. Kids desk. So the next data point is going to be Google AdWords, all right? So this is Google AdWords, and I know we are not on Amazon, but one of the ways you can see the amount of people that go look for something is by looking on Amazon. Another way is by looking on Google, because typically, if they don't shop on Amazon, they start their search on Google. So that means Google can give us shitloads of awesome information. Oh, this is Facebook, not Google. My apologies. Let's go to Google. I'm going to do that next. So Google. So here we are on Google. I do a lot of Google advertising. What's that? $16,000 a month I spend on Google ads, which I think we can all agree is insane. But I wouldn't do it unless it made a return. So here's how I use it. So in here where it says tools and settings, you want to go to planning, and you can come to keyword planner. All right, that's the one you want. You want keyword planner. And when you click on that, you'll come to here, and you can either use this to search for new keywords, which is really, really useful, by the way. Oh, I should show you that too. Yeah, I ought to show you that too. Maybe I will. Maybe if I feel nice, I'll show you that too. Keyword planner. Or you can get search volume. So let's just go search volume. Kids desk. Doink. All right. Now, so things to notice here is I am in location Australia. I could check for any country, but I'm just doing Australia because that's what we're trying to figure out. Will this sell in Australia? But here's the important things for us. 16,000 people per month search for that single search term, kids desk. Okay, so that gives me more information now. So now I know information about that particular search term in the Australian market. So I always come and check on Google as well. Because, why do that? Simple. The data for Australia, for all the software, Jungle Scout, well, Jungle Scout doesn't even have Australia, neither does Helium 10, but Merchant Words, eGrow, AmazeOwl, all those softwares, the data for Australia is shit. It is not great. It's not great because it's new. That's why. So this is a great way to get another data point. Just, it gives you more information. That's what you're trying to get. More information. 16,000 impressions is good. Is good. So I get that too. Then I go to Google Trends and I type in my thing here and I look at what's happening. So sometimes you can be at the start of your journey. Look at that spike here. That's insane, isn't it? That's why it's a bestseller, because this spike right here has happened. Insane. Anyway, kids desk. And this again, let's see. So now I've just done the search term, past 12 months. Now I want to know. Australia is the #2 place where that particular search term has popped. What does that mean? Why doesn't the data in Merchant Words or Helium 10 or Jungle Scout tell us anything different? Well, because their data is not accurate. Their data is not accurate. That's why. It's old because that's what Amazon does, and it's inaccurate because they have to guess. Again, part art, part science. Part art, part science. So there's Australia. So now I've got another data point telling me that this is the globally, that search term has done incredibly well in Australia. So now I'm thinking, shit. Well, that's pretty interesting, because if I would have just looked at the data, I would have missed that. I would have missed that. All right, let's check one more thing, all right? So now let's go to Facebook. Here's another thing I check. Again, I spend a lot of money, $10,000 a month, last month, on Facebook ads. And here's how I use this to validate ideas for Australia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to create. Blink. Now you have to use this in a very, very oblique way. So I'm going to just go and set up a campaign under a traffic consideration. It doesn't really matter. None of this is important. I'm not even going to get to any of this, all right? So don't even worry about it. I just want to get a specific piece of data. Now I'm going to come to the audience. I've got my location. I'm just going to leave all that super, super open, all right? Super, super open. But let's just go in and let's just define who I'm looking for. So who is likely to be looking to buy a desk for their children? Who's likely to be looking to buy a desk for their children? What are they likely to be interested in? Their parents, all right? So let's just do that. Parents. Parents. So we could do parents. Let's say the age range, because look at all these different ages we can get, is going to be between 9 and 12. For our particular desk that we're thinking of buying to sell on Amazon, it suits 9 to 12-year-olds. What else? Mums. More likely to be mum? Yeah, I'd agree with that. Let's just go to gender and change that into women. So it's going to be ladies who are mums too. Homeschoolers. Good. So let's narrow it down. Narrow down my audience by looking for people who are female, who are parents, and they're interested in homeschool. schooling. Have I spelled that right, Asher? Here we go. There you go, in Australia. So now I'm saying to myself, is there a market for this product in Australia? Now I can see there's 30,000 people who match my criteria: parents, female, interest in homeschooling. I can see it matches my criteria. Again, it's another data point. Now, just to be clear, does that mean this is a dead cert? No, of course not. But what it means is I've now got a lot more information about my product idea that I can use to make a decision. And here's the bottom line. You should absolutely put your ideas to the test in the lowest and easiest and least risk way possible. Absolutely should do that. So don't order 1,000 home desks. Don't do that. Order 20 home desks and just see if it works. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Not by testing $3,000 worth of desks, but by testing $150 worth of desks. That's the way I do it anyway. So again, if you were just looking at the data, you would miss all of that information. And that's a shame, because you miss opportunities. Now, we haven't even got into things like bundling products together to make a new market, things like differentiating a product to make a new marketplace. So if I was selling desks, let's suppose I'm selling this desk right here, what could I do with that desk? Let's suppose my plan is I'm going to sell a kid's desk in Australia, but I go to Australia and I see it's very, very competitive. What could I do? What could I do? What could I do? I see it's very competitive, but I can see there's a lot of money to be made. What should I do? I like that, Joy. I could bundle it with pens and markers and whiteboards and things like that. I could differentiate it by putting some beautiful images onto it. I could do a stationery bundle. I could add pencil case and things like that into it. I could target a sub-niche of people. I could do all those things, you know. Again, you've got to think creatively about this. If you just be linear, only focused on the numbers, you will miss out on so much money on Amazon. It's insane. You've got to be creative, and that requires you to get into your part art, part science, part of your brain. There you go. Hey, Neil here. Just before you go away, that was a question that I got asked on my regular Monday night Q&A session, which I have with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in joining us as an Aussie Online Entrepreneurs, then you can click on the link below to find out a lot more about that. And also, as a special thank you for watching this video, I've got a great book that I want to give you for free. It's a current bestseller on Amazon, and it teaches you everything that you would need to know about starting a business here in Australia on Amazon. So you can see that just up there. So if you'd like to get a copy of that for free, then again, just click on the link below and you'll get a copy of that. You'll get taken to a page where you can get a copy of that for absolutely free. Hope you enjoyed that little snippet from one of my Aussie Online Entrepreneur Q&A sessions, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also like this video. And if you've got a question that you would like answering, then post it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it, whether on one of these videos for you or directly in the comments directly below. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on the next of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs Amazon FBA Australia videos. See you soon.